Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, how are you all? I hope you all are fine at your places. So, today we're going to start a new chapter, chapter number 6. And the name of this particular chapter is Challenges of Cultural Diversity. Okay, so we're going to start this particular chapter. And before I start this particular chapter, I think it's important to give you a kind of an outline or introduction regarding this particular chapter. Now, cultural diversity. What do you mean by this? India is a pluralistic society. We all know that. India has got a lot of different cultures. We have got a lot of differentiation. We have got a lot of diversity in the form of language that we speak. We speak almost more than you know 1600 languages, and some are even not registered. So we speak so many languages. India speaks so many languages. We have different caste, and then further division of the caste are different jatis, right? So we have got multiple religions, right? So different religions, different caste, and then different jatis, and then different languages that we speak. We've got different culture. Regionalism is also there. Southern part of India, they have got different culture. Northern part of the India have kind of different culture. Western part of the India has got different kind of culture. Northeastern states, seven sisters, your Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, then Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Sikkim, and Meghalaya. All these states have different culture. So we have got multiple cultures in our India. We've got multiple, I would say, diversities. We've got a lot of diversities in our India, but somewhere at one point or the another, this diversity or this multiple, culture or existence of different culture somewhere is a challenge also, is a huge challenge, and it leads to grave situations. Grave situation means situation that leads to riots, situation that leads to violent protests, situation that actually disturbs the peace of our country. So we've got a lot of diversity, cultural diversity, not, and when I say cultural diversity, we've got geographical diversity as well. Somewhere, in the northern part of India, there is a Himalayan belt. A lot of mountains are there. Southern part of India is all about coastal regions. Then, somewhere temperature is going -30, Siachen, Leh, Ladakh, and somewhere temperature is very moderate, along the coastal areas. Somewhere there is a lot of heat going on. Rajasthan, the temperature is always very high. So we've got a lot of diversity, not only in terms of region, not only in terms of geographical terms, not only in terms of caste, not only in terms of religion. There are n number of diversities that are there in India, but they cause a lot of challenges as well. And this is what we're going to understand in this particular chapter. So as usual, I'm going to share my PowerPoint presentation with all of you. So here I go. So let's start the share. Okay. I hope my screen is visible on your screen as well. So here I go. So chapter number 6, right on your screen. The name of this particular chapter is chapter 6, The Challenges of Culture Diversity. So multiple cultures are there in India, and that actually cause challenges, right? And we're going to understand what are those challenges that actually arise due to cultural diversity, right? We're going to understand all these things in our Indian context. Okay, so let's proceed further to the next slide. Okay. So the term, look at that, I'm reading from the slide, the term diversity, and I'm using my cursor as well to show you from where actually I'm reading. So the term diversity emphasizes differences rather than inequalities. Now, number one line is extremely important if you try to understand this in a deep context. Now, what do you mean by this? When we say diversity, we have to take it in a positive sense. We have to take it in a good sense. And how we can understand the diversity, we actually have to embrace our diversity. We have to feel like these are kind of differences that exist in our Indian society, in our India, or in our nation. And it is not a kind of inequality, because the moment we start understanding that diversity is something that is causing inequality, the moment communities started thinking like that, the moment the groups or communities start thinking like that, कि diversity is kind of inequality, that brings a lot of challenges. और riots बहुत होते हैं. Recently there was a riot that happened in Delhi riot, जहाँ पे हिंदू मुस्लिम बहुत सारा हुआ. और हिंदू मुस्लिम, and I'm saying हिंदू मुस्लिम बहुत सारा हुआ means lot of, you know, violent, or lot of violent angry people, or lot of, you know, उनके बीच में conflict हुआ. And that is what, you know, challenge is all about. You can really relate it to the recent incident that happened in the Delhi. वहाँ पर, you know, it was a challenge for our India, right? So the term diversity emphasizes differences rather than inequalities. So you got to understand diversity is just a, you know, kind of different, that difference that is there in India. We got to understand this in this context, right? Rather than inequalities. When we say that India is a nation of great culture diversity, we mean that there are many different types of social groups and communities living here. Okay, so this is what actually it means. So many different groups and communities live here. Now these groups and communities, I've already told you, these groups and communities can be on the form of caste, can be on the basis, or can be in the form of caste, or can be on the basis of religion, on the basis of geographical, you know, terms. I've already told northern part of India, southern part of the India, right, western eastern part of the India. So on the basis of region, we understand social groups and communities. On the basis of caste, on the basis of religion, on the basis of tribe, on the basis of clan. So there are n number of, you just name it, and they are many. Okay, so these are these are communities defined by cultural markers such as language, religion, sect, race, caste. So I think I'm needless now to actually explain this line, because I've already discussed a lot about this, right? So these are all cultural markers. Now, what do you understand by this cultural markers? They mark the culture. They actually define the culture. Okay, this culture has this caste, this culture has this language, this culture has, you know, a Dravidian language, this culture has, you know, Punjabi language, this culture has Dogri language, this culture has you know, Marathi language, this culture has, you know, Tamil speakers, you know, Telugu speakers, right? So every culture has its own caste, has its own customs, tradition, rituals, values, and these are actually cultural markers such as language, religion, sect, race, caste, and there are many. Okay, so when these diverse communities are also a part of larger entity like a nation, then difficulties may be created by competition or conflict between them. I hope you will able to understand. I hope you will able to relate, you know, relate that I'm trying to tell you, or you will able to understand the context that I'm telling you, will able to relate to what I'm actually telling you. So a lot of when there is a competition, when there is a lot of, you know, this is my culture, this is your culture, we are we, you are they, and we they जब हो जाता है तो बहुत सारी conflicts हो जाते हैं, right? Or look at that, what is written here: when these diverse communities are also part of a larger entity means larger structure, right? You can, here you can understand larger structure means India is the largest structure, India is the largest entity. और जब बहुत सारी diversities हो जाती है, बहुत सारी diverse communities, you know, when become part of a larger community, then, you know, that actually give rise to a lot of difficulties and challenges, and this is what we're going to understand in this particular chapter, right? Okay, now the question comes. Look, I've actually written this in a red color. So culture diversity presents tough challenges, right? Isn't it? It really. So culture diversity presents tough challenges. The difficulties arise from the fact that culture identities. Now, what are culture identities? Language, religion, sect, race, caste. These are culture markers or culture identities. They are very powerful. Now, how you can understand this? You know, they are very powerful. We are emotionally attached to all these things. We are psychologically attached to all these things, right? That's the reason they are very, very strong, and they actually give rise to intense passion, right? We are always passionate about our communities. We always, try to show that our community is superior and all these things. We tend to do all these things, but I believe that, uh, there should be no conflict, or we should not act or behave like it results in any kind of challenge for a nation, or it results in any kind of difficulty, or tough situations come. We should never behave like that, right? So the differences arise from the fact that cultural identities are very powerful. They can arouse intense passions and are often able to mobilize large number of people, right? When we talk about these cultural identities, they actually create a lot of feelings in us, because we are emotionally attached to all these things. We are psychologically attached to all these things. So they actually they help in arising intense passions, and they they at times mobilize also. They create a lot of movements also in the people, right? I can again give you the example of Delhi riots जो recently अभी few months back हुए थे, जहाँ पर lot of conflict was there between Hindu and Muslim रिलीजन में हुआ था. और क्यों हुआ था? बिकॉज पीपल वर इमोशनली अटैच. सिंस यू ऑल नो दैट पीपल आर इमोशनली अटैच, सो उनके बीच में बहुत सारे इंटेंस पैशन और बहुत सारी फीलिंग्स रिगार्डिंग देयर कम्युनिटी और रिगार्डिंग देयर कल्चर उनमें बहुत सारी थी. उसकी वजह से उनके बीच में कंफ्लिक्ट हो गया, राइट? और इससे बहुत सारे मोबिलाइज भी हो जाते हैं लार्ज क्राउड. ऑब्वियसली बहुत ज्यादा ग्रुप सारे इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं, यूनाइट हो जाते हैं, और उसकी वजह से कंफ्लिक्ट और वगैरह ऑल दीज थिंग्स हो जाती हैं. ओके ओके, सो दिस वाज द नंबर 1 पॉइंट. Sometimes cultural differences are accompanied by economic inequalities. अब कभी कभी cultural inequalities का साथ किनको मिलता है? कल्चर कम्युनिटीज और कल्चर डिफरेंसेस का जब साथ मिलता है इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटीज में, जैसे अनइक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ इनकम एंड सोशल इनइक्वालिटीज लाइक अनइक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटीज, तो वो भी कहीं ना कहीं they present tough challenges. Look at that, what we are try to understand that what I'm telling you. Culture diversity presents tough challenges. So टफ चैलेंजेस हो जाते हैं, आ जाते हैं इन सब चीजों की वजह से. कल्चर डिफरेंसेस तो ऑलरेडी हैं, वो तो ऑलरेडी काम करते हैं. दे इग्नाइट द पीपल विद लॉट ऑफ पैशन, और उनमें वो दैट फीलिंग तो होती ही है. बट कहीं ना कहीं अगर कल्चर डिफरेंसेस के साथ इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटीज भी होना स्टार्ट हो जाए, इफ इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटीज आल्सो स्टार्ट टेकिंग प्लेस. इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी मींस दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्सन बिलोंग टू दैट पर्टिकुलर कल्चर, सो कहीं ना कहीं अनइक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ इनकम होने स्टार्ट हो जाए. किसी पर्टिकुलर कल्चर के इंसान को अच्छी इनकम मिल रही है, किसी को नहीं मिल रही है, तो कहीं ना कहीं लुक एट दैट, दीज आर इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटीज. कहीं ना कहीं वेल्थ या मनी के रिलेटेड, या अनइक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेज, अनइक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ इनकम की वजह से जब हमारे इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटीज जुड़ जाते हैं हमारे कल्चर डिफरेंसेस के साथ, तो वो दैट रियली गिव राइज टू ग्रेव सिचुएशन दैट रियली पोज अ ग्रेट थ्रेट टू आवर country, right? Or I've already told you about economic inequalities means unequal distribution of income भी हो सकता है, resources भी हो सकते हैं. और उसके बाद social inequalities means kind of unequal opportunities in a particular society. सबको equal opportunities जब नहीं मिल रही है, suppose on the basis of caste हुआ करती थी बहुत सारी पहले, अब तो बहुत changes आ चुके हैं, तो वो भी एक kind of social inequality है. तो जब कल्चरल डिफरेंसेस के साथ इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटीज और सोशल इनइक्वालिटीज जुड़ जाती हैं, दैट further complicate the things. I'm sure you are understanding, और वो further complication हो जाती है चीजों की. All right, so measures to address the inequalities or injustice suffered by one community can provoke opposition from other communities. Now what do you mean by this? It means that जब एक पर्टिकुलर कम्युनिटी के लिए, एक पर्टिकुलर कल्चर और ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल के लिए अगर गवर्नमेंट ने कुछ काम लिया या मेजर्स लिए, मेजर्स मींस काइंड ऑफ प्रोविजंस उसको प्रोवाइड किए, या काइंड ऑफ उनके लिए कुछ स्टेप्स लिए, तो उनके इनजस्टिस को दूर करने के लिए या उनकी इनक्वालिटीज को दूर करने के लिए, तो इट समवेयर प्रोवोक, इट एक्टिवेट्स द अदर कम्युनिटी पीपल कि उनके लिए इतना काम हुआ, उनके लिए प्रोविजंस हुए, उनके लिए रिजर्वेशंस हुए, तो हमारे लिए क्यों नहीं, राइट? सो ये भी कहीं ना कहीं क्वेश्चन कम्स आउट ऑफ दिस, राइट? सो इट प्रोवोक ऑपोजिशन फ्रॉम द अदर कम्युनिटीज, राइट? तो हो जाती है ये सारी चीजें. द सिचुएशन इज मेड वर्स when scarce resources like rivers, water, jobs or government jobs have to be shared. अब ये सिचुएशन बहुत ज्यादा एक्सट्रीम फॉर्म में चली जाती है. दिस सिचुएशन गोज टू एन एक्सट्रीम फॉर्म जब हम स्केयर रिसोर्सेज की बात करते हैं. नाउ व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय स्केयर रिसोर्स? स्केयर रिसोर्स, लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज. Water is a limited resource, right? Jobs are very limited in our country. Now government funds means government money that comes from the government, right? वो भी बहुत है जब limited resources या जिनको we also call them scarce resources, जब scarce resources और limited resource को share करने की बात आती है तब ये situation और भी worse हो जाती है क्योंकि एक community कहती है we need, the other community we need, और अगर उसमें unequal distribution हो जाए तो it leads to tough challenges, right? So this was what this paragraph was all about. Cultural diversity presents tough challenges. I hope you've understood what I have tried to make you understand. Okay, so the question like that comes out of this particular paragraph. How can cultural diversity present tough challenges? I have discussed a lot about this. This is the slide. Cultural diversity presents tough challenges. So how can cultural diversity present tough challenges? This kind of question can come, or एक अलग version में भी आ सकता है कि why does cultural diversity present tough challenges? Give reasons. So अगर इस form में आए या दूसरी form में आए, the two forms I have already written in this particular slide. So you have to understand that they are talking about the tough challenges or the grave situations that come out of cultural diversity. And then we have to write that they can arouse intense passions, able to mobilize large number of people. बहुत सारी movement होती है ना. And sometimes culture differences, बहुत सारी movement. अब तो Delhi rights के मैंने example तो आपको दिया है. बहुत सारे reservations के लिए jats that are there in Haryana, वो they block railway lines, they start blocking that. रेल रोक दी, ये रोक दिया, strike कर दी, roads पे protest कर दी. So वो क्या होती है? वो होती है मोबिलिटी. और वो मोबिलिटी कहाँ से आती है? जब हमारे अंदर अपनी कम्युनिटी के लिए इंटेंस पैशन होते हैं. तो इसका मतलब जो कम्युनिटी की वजह से मोबिलाइज हो जाते हैं बहुत सारे लोग, और दे स्टार्टेड डूइंग different activities, different protests to actually go for their rights, right? Sometimes cultural differences are accompanied by economic and social resources. I've already discussed economic and social resources, so you can actually write your answer from this slide, right? और अगर 2 marks या 4 marks में आता है, then try to be as as precise and as correct as you can. Try to use proper words in your answer, then only you will get full marks out of your questions, right? Okay, so measures to address the inequalities or injustice suffered by one community can provoke opposition from the other community. I've discussed this as well. The situation becomes worse when scarce resources like river waters, jobs, or government funds have to be shared. So I hope you have understood this number 1 slide and then number 2nd slide as well. Then moving on to the 3rd slide. But before I move on to the 3rd slide, kindly text me if you're understanding what I'm trying to make you understand, and text me in a fast manner. Try to text me as fast as you can, because you people are nowadays taking a lot of time to reply me. I don't know why. Where has your passion gone? Saurav always reply at the right time. So finally Saurav has built that habit कि reply करना है right time पे. It's a good habit to have. And what about others? Archita, Mandeep, Urvi. Okay. So then moving on to the next slide. This is the next slide. Now, community identity. Here we're going to understand the importance of community identity. That what is community identity is all about. Community identity is very, very important. We should understand that what is community identity. We should understand that how it is formed. A community की identity कैसे form होती है और community identity होती क्या है. And when we will understand this, we'll understand the importance of community identity as well, right? Now look at that, what happens. Now what is community identity and how it is formed? Community identity is based on birth and belonging rather than on some forms of acquired qualifications or accomplishments. Now what do you mean by this? When we take birth in a particular caste, when we take birth in a particular religion, do we have to pass any exam? क्या हमें कोई exam pass करना पड़ता है to take birth in a particular community, take birth in a particular caste, or to take birth in a particular religion? नहीं करना पड़ता. So we don't have to do that. ये कहीं ना कहीं हमें जो community identity मिलती है, कहाँ से मिलती है? Right from our community, or right from our the kind of caste we belong, the kind of religion we belong, we get that community identity from there. So somewhere it is based on our birth, right? So community identity hame right from our birth milti hai, the moment we take birth in this earth. So hame wahan se community identity milti hai. And is based on birth and belonging. Belonging means belonging to a caste or religion or whatever, rather than on the forms of acquired qualifications or accomplishment. Kahin na kahin it's something which is ascribed, not achieved. There is a lot of difference between ascribed and achieved. When I'm saying ascribed, then something that we get from our community, something that we get from our, the system that we belong to. Or achievement means the achievement that we do after taking birth, right? So kahin na kahin rather than some form of acquired qualification or accomplishment. तो कहीं ना कहीं हमें हमारी qualification से नहीं मिल रही है, या जो हमने accomplish किया अपनी life में achieve किया वहाँ से नहीं मिल रही है, हमें कहाँ से मिल रही है ये? Obviously from the birth of जिस चीज़ से हम belong करते हैं, right? These kind of identities are called descriptive identities. I've already told you that कि ascribed और achievement में ascribed status और achieved status में बहुत फर्क होता है. Ascribed status होता है that we get from our caste or religion or from a community, or achieved status that we achieve, right? We get a job, so that is our achieved status. We get, we do something good for the society, and society rewards us, that is our achievement. So kahin na kahin ascribed or achieved. So jab hum community की बात करते हैं तो वहाँ पे सब चीजें ascribed status के around revolve करती हैं, जिसको हम descriptive कहते हैं. So they are determined by birth and individual choice is not involved. कहीं ना कहीं everything is based on birth and individual choice वहाँ पर matter नहीं करती है, क्योंकि we can't change our caste, we can't change our religion, जिसमें we have born, we have to go with that, right? So कहीं ना कहीं these 2 points actually mean that people feel a deep sense of security and satisfaction belonging to community. It's a very easy sentence, you will easily able to understand. We have got sense of security or satisfaction in belonging to communities, right? People are emotionally attached to their community identity. It's as simple as you can understand this. Then 5th point, expanding and overlapping circles of community ties with family, kinship, ethnicity, language give meaning to our world and gives a sense of identity. So kahin na kahin जब we try to expand our community, जब हमारी community expand होती है, या कहीं ना कहीं if someone tells us कि हमारे जो ancestors थे उन्होंने ये किया था, he was a very good person in the society, or he did that for the society, he contributed a lot for the society. So कहीं ना कहीं we try to get meaning out of it कि yes, we belong to a community, और कहीं ना कहीं उससे हमें एक identity मिलती है. अपनी कास्ट नहीं कहूँगा, अपनी community को जब हम expand करते हैं या कहीं ना कहीं उसकी expansion होती है, तो we tend to get our identity out of this. So what it means that community is a source of identity. Easily you can community identity. Look at the term that we understand, community identity. So community identity give us a sense of identity. Now 6th point, ascriptive identities and community feelings are universal. Everywhere has okay. So it's a universal thing, right? Everywhere in the world community identity तो होती है. So हर जगह होती है community identities. और ascriptive identities means जो हमें अपनी community से identity मिलती है, ना कि जो हम achieve करते हैं, जो चीज ascribed होती है, right? So ascriptive identities and community feelings are universal. Everyone has a motherland and a mother tongue and a family and a faith, right? So हर community के साथ कुछ faith और कुछ language attach होती है, right? Okay, so our community provides us or with our mother tongue and the culture values through which we comprehend the world, and also anchors our self-identity. So as I've already told you that community identity में हमेशा एक kind of language होती है that we have in our community, and through that language we understand many things, right? We understand the values, the customs, the traditions that are there in the particular particular community, or it's a kind of, it's a source of our language also, right? Because every community, every culture has its language, right? The process of socialization involves continuous dialogue with our significant surroundings such as parents, kin, family, and community. Thus, community is a very important part of our identity. So what happens when we are, when we have, taken birth in a particular community, वहाँ पे हमारी socialization होती है. We tend to learn the values, the customs, the traditions, the rules and rituals, and all these things that are related to a particular community, we learn that particular thing through the process of socialization. बचपन से ही we start, having dialogues, starting conversations with our parents, kin, family, और जो भी community member है उसके साथ हमारी काफी discussions होती हैं, और उनकी interaction से we learn a lot of things, right? So it means that community is a very important part of our identity, right? So basically what we are understanding the characteristics, the features of community, and obviously how it is formed, right? So कहीं ना कहीं हमारी socialization होती है, the process of socialization involves continuous dialogues होते हैं हमारे parents के साथ, हमारी family के साथ, हमारी community members के साथ, और हम बहुत सारी चीजें we learn, right, out of our community, right? Especially the rules, rituals, values, customs, traditions that are there in the particular task. Okay. So then last point, community conflicts are very hard to deal with, since each side thinks of the other side as a hatred enemy, and there is a tendency to exaggerate the virtues of one's own side as well as the vices of the other side. This is the last point, but very important. Now, what do you mean by this? Conflict जो होते हैं, the struggles होते हैं, जो kind of प्रॉब्लम्स या चैलेंजेस होती है कम्युनिटी आपस में, दो कम्युनिटीज की, वो एक्चुअली क्यों होती है? ऑब्वियसली तभी होती है जब एक पर्टिकुलर कम्युनिटी कहती है कि वी आर ऑन द राइट साइड, द अदर कम्युनिटी इज ऑन द रॉन्ग साइड, है ना? राइट रॉन्ग की बात चलने स्टार्ट हो जाती है, तो तब ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट स्टार्ट हो जाते हैं। और हमेशा वी people see the member of other community through through a very kind, what should I use here word, hatred enemy, I would say hostile reactions. There are hostile reactions that we have regarding the other communities. हमेशा एक community के people, they see the other people of community from a very unfriendly, I would say unfriendly is the best word. So unfriendly context में they try to understand, कहीं ना कहीं अनफ्रेंडली होते हैं, राइट? सो और क्या होता है और क्यों करते हैं वो सारी चीजें? To exaggerate means कहीं ना कहीं जो virtue, now there are two words, virtues and vices. Virtues means good qualities and vices means bad qualities, right? So कहीं ना कहीं what people do, they tend to exaggerate अपने virtues, अपने good qualities of community की हमेशा दिखाने की कोशिश करते हैं. They try to emphasize, they try to exaggerate, they try to overemphasize the virtues or good qualities अपनी side of community की, और the vices है, vices means bad qualities, faults, limitations, all these are vices. So vices नहीं दिखाते हैं, उसको de-emphasize करते हैं, और emphasize इसको करते हैं, virtues को emphasize करते हैं, right? So this was what community identity was all about, and this is how it actually formed, right? Now in exams, what kind of question comes out of this? What are the criteria for forming community identity? So there are, I have actually discussed many criteria. So 2 marks mein you have to just write 2 criteria. So criteria for forming community identity. Community identity is obviously based on birth, discuss a lot, and not based on acquired qualification or the accomplishment. ये actually point कम आया, first ही sentence से आ गया है कि based on birth and not on acquired qualification or accomplishment. So ये चीजें होती है, right? So अगर और 4 marks में आता है, then you have to give 4-5 points and try to elaborate it, or kind of थोड़ी सी explanation लिखना जरूरी है. Now when I talk about 4 marks kind of question, then what are community identities? Why are they important? Community identities are actually based on birth and belonging, gives a sense of security, satisfaction, belonging to a community. And why they are important? Because they gives a sense of security or satisfaction, और हमें एक identity feel होती है, एक security feel होती है, एक satisfaction feel होती है for a community. Creates emotional attachment. We are emotionally and psychologically attached to our community. Within the community provides us language or culture value. Obviously हर एक community की एक culture की एक particular language होती है, और it provides us mother tongue. मैंने बहुत सारी points में mother tongue, look at that, mother tongue. So kind of this is what I was telling you. Provides us language, obviously provides us mother tongue, और culture values जो हम समझते हैं through the process of socialization. So these are the 4 points that you have to write, or obviously this is actually the source from where you're gonna write your 2 marks answer, and obviously 4 marks answer as well. So in दो forms में आता है, 2 के लिए 2 points and 4 marks के लिए 4 points, right? So this was what, so till now what we have understood, we have discussed a little bit of introduction. We have I've discussed introduction about this chapter. Then we moved on to understand the first slide. Key diversity is actually differences rather than equalities, or tough challenges. It poses tough challenges. It gives tough challenges for the society, or how they pose tough challenges, or they present tough challenges. We understand that. We understood that as well, and then we have understood community identity and how it is formed. Right? These are 2 question that can come regarding this particular topic, right? Okay, so I think I'm just left with few minutes. I'm just left with two or three. So just few minutes are left for this class. So kindly text me if you have understood what I have tried to make you understand. What I have tried to make you understand, kindly text me yes. Okay. So I think the time has come to say you goodbye, or I think I should stop sharing this screen with you. So until then, take care all, stay safe, stay at home, utilize your time, and God bless you all, and start making your notes and start sharing your notes. Everyone, Archita has shared, already shared, and Baki, be start sharing your notes and notebooks that you are maintaining, the textual questions that you are doing, start sharing it, और अपने friends को बता दो, और everyone, सबको बोल रहा हूँ मैं, और okay, until then, take care all, and bye bye. Stay safe. Okay, bye bye. Bye bye, everyone.